If I were starting over in my 20s and wanted to make $1 million in the next 1 to 2 years, here are the 3 things I would do immediately. Number 1, I would buy an existing business with owner financing, and I would implement modern marketing and automation tactics. And yes, this is doable with little to no money. Start by going to BizBuySell or LoopNet.com. Number 2, I would leverage any credit or borrowing opportunities I had, and I would go all in on crypto research and trading. There's huge opportunity in crypto right now, especially if you're following new coin launches. Pro tip, become an expert airdrop hunter. There's just huge potential here. Number 3, I would immerse myself in AI and become an expert in the field. From there, I would launch and test AI-generated art, digital products, or educational-based AI talking head content. Once I got some traction, I would work endlessly to maximize my eyeballs and revenue and engage with associated influencers to help. No bullshit. Without some risk and trial and error, you'll never know when your breakthrough is gonna be. So get out there, take some risks, and watch the magic happen. Okay, so we have the plan. Let's go.
You don't have a bunch of cash saved up in your bank account right now, you're fucked. Let me tell you why. Currently in the US right now, there's $986 billion in credit card debt, which is a record. $1.6 trillion in auto loans, also a record. $11.6 trillion in mortgages, record. And $16.5 trillion in housing debt overall. This is also another record. The US is not setting up in a good scenario. So if you're sitting here right now thinking about buying something stupid, don't do it. All you should be focusing on is preserving capital and saving cash, because you should always be prepared for the worst case scenario. My recommendation to you right now, sit on your cash as much as possible, sell unnecessary goods and items, focus on protecting yourself and protecting your future.
My biggest financial tips for those aged 25 to 34 years old: do not invest in a 401k, IRA, or a single family home. When you invest in an IRA, 401k, you can't touch your money until you're in your 60s. For those of you that are between 24 and 34 years old, this could be 40 to 30 years. That's a long time to not be able to touch your money. And when it comes to single family homes, for 99.9% of people, a single family home that you live in as an investment is really only a glorified savings account at absolute best. My next tip is to learn about how money really works. And when you do this, you're gonna become much more cash flow minded, meaning you're gonna invest into assets that pay you cash flow every single month and that will appreciate over time and very likely give you very, very, very good tax benefits. My third tip after you learn about some of that stuff is to actually go and do it. Go and buy a duplex, go and buy an 8-unit, go invest in some type of business that's in your neighborhood. Start to work on and focusing on getting your cash flow up every single month so that it covers all of your monthly bills, and then pick that next goal so that cash flow can pay for that as well.
You had $10,000 to your name. What would you do to spin that around?
I would take $2,000 and I would open up an e-commerce brand, Shopify and Oberlo. I would either do it myself or hire someone like on Fiverr to find a drop shipper like an Oberlo that has them in stock, pay my $29 to Shopify and make this e-commerce site, pay someone on Fiverr $50 to create the site and make sure it all plugs into the back end of my drop shipper. And then I would take another $2,000 and run test ads. So I'd have that cooking and I'd give that at least 5 to 7 days to see how ads perform, and then just again pump money into the ad that works. So I'd hope to have recurring revenue on that, because you can sell 24 hours a day.
If you use your credit cards, you do not want to be rich. And people then they ask me, well, where's the best place to invest? I said, your best place to invest is to pay off all your credit cards and burn them, because your credit card, you know what your return is, right? If you get off, you're paying 15, 20% interest in one way or the other. And if you pay that down, you just earn 15 or 20%.
Excuse me, sir, what do you do for a living?
It's your business. I'm an investor.
How long have you been doing that?
A long time.
How much money do you make?
I make a lot.
Do you have any tips for people going into this upcoming recession?
There's going to be a recession, no question. But all the assets are going to increase in value. It's a complicated formula, but stock market, real estate, diamonds, art, everything's going up. Any asset is good. Leaving money in the bank is just going to dissipate.
Do you invest in stocks or real estate? What is your major investments?
Real estate. It's the best investment for anybody out there. It's a slow way to get very, very rich.
Okay.
Your money gets locked up, property appreciates, the rents come in. You can get very rich investing in real estate, and it's not difficult. It's not a difficult game.
All the similarities between these wealthy people I walk up to, every one of them does real estate. Would you recommend for the average 20-year-old watching or something like that, buy a multifamily, buy a single family?
I was just going to say that buy the cheapest multifamily you could get in an area that has good rentals.
Okay.
And then live in one half of it, and a tenant will pay your expenses. And then move out, rent the other half, do the same thing again and again and again.
19. What would you do if you had $100K and you wanted to invest that and turn that into $1 million?
By when?
25.
You want to make $900,000 in 6 years on an investment?
Well, I'm. Is it just a question?
I'm not angry. I'm just truly wondering. So what's the actual goal there of I want to have $1 million by 26?
So right now I work for a company where I sell roofs through insurance companies, and I make pretty decently. I was wondering how can I start at my own type of situation, or that I can invest in other things and gain passive income from those with assets.
So this idea of passive income is actually a myth. It's so much harder than it looks, and almost nobody can actually achieve it. And so do you actually have $100,000?
I have about 30K right now.
Okay. And is that all the money to your name?
Liquid, yeah.
Do you have any debt?
No.
You are crushing it, my man. 19 years old with 30 grand, no debt. This is a great starting point. How much of that would you call a 6-month emergency fund? If you added what 1 month of expenses are times 6?
Yeah. That would probably be 2-3K. I don't really spend much.
Okay. So let's call it 20K is your fully funded emergency fund. You've got 10K to play around with. And then do you have any investing options through your employer currently?
No. No, I don't.
Okay. So you're on your own for investing.
Yeah.
So the first place I would go is open a Roth IRA, and I would fully fund that. That's going to be about $6,500.
Okay.
So you could do that, and the end goal is start investing 15% of your income, because we still have other things we've got to do with our life. We've got to go on vacation. We got to upgrade the car. You want to be a homeowner one day?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm looking at that next year.
So then we got to save up a down payment. So we can't do everything all at once. And so I love 15% as a starting point, because it allows us to focus on other goals, like saving up that down payment. So I love the goal of I want to be a millionaire one day. But the idea that I'm going to turn 100,000 into $1 million 6 years from now, that tells me you're more likely to lose it than you are to gain anything.
Yeah.
Because most of the strategies involved to turn money that quickly involve a lot of risk.
What do you think is the number one thing that young people get wrong when it comes to finances?
We teach young people everything. Geography, reading, math, sex education. We don't teach them about investing. The average salary in America is $52,000. And if you put aside 10% of what you get paid, by the time you're 65, you'll have $1.2 million in the bank. Nobody teaches them that.
It took me 15 years to learn this. I'm going to teach you in 1 minute. And there are not that many people on this planet that understand what I'm about to show you. It's complex, but I'm going to make it very simple. The government needs real estate built. And because of that, they influence behaviors to put dollars in that asset class. One way they do that is by allowing investors to depreciate their asset. Let's say this camera is the apartment, since I don't have an apartment. This apartment I bought for $1.5 million. Building itself is worth $1 million. Let's say this building pays me $5,600 a month, but I have to pay my expenses and my debt, which equals $4,000. So I'm left with $1,600 of cash flow every month, or $19,200 of cash flow annually. Now, this is what the government allows you to do. They allow you to depreciate this asset over 27.5 years. So I would take $1 million, divide that by 27.5 years, which would give me $36,363 to depreciate each year. When you look at my $19,200 of what would be taxable income, when I subtract it by the $36,363, I actually show a loss of $17,163. So that means all of this, I don't pay taxes on. And that negative $17,000 I can actually use to offset against future income or other income I made that year.
The best financial advice you've ever received?
Invest in assets, not liabilities.
What is the worst financial advice you've ever received?
The way to build wealth is saving your money.
So true. Third question. What is something you used to value that you don't anymore?
Material things.
What is something that you think people think is important when it comes to money, but you realize that's not really the right focus?
Net worth. Net worth is a crap indicator of real success.